But the fact is, as public policymakers, we're trying to identify the pathway forward to make sure that reliability is at the forefront of what we're addressing, and addressing cost in that same factor, finding that sweet spot, if you will. Will you folks intend to build capacity to meet the market demands that Michigan has in the future?
For your customers.
For the customers that you have contracts with? In this case, obviously, it's our school districts. Not mine, because none of mine are included on here, but nonetheless.
Vice Chairman Proust, that's a really terrific question. And it really gets probably to the crux of a lot of the debate and a lot of the concern that we all have. And so I want to explain that in retail markets, there's 14 states, including Washington, D.C., that allow competition, retail competition, wholesale competition. And in all of those places, for the past 12 to 15 years, depending upon which state you're talking about, the retail suppliers, companies like mine, enter into bilateral contracts with the wholesale market, the generators, to secure the power on behalf of their customers. And so the answer to your question is the retail supplier is not responsible for building a generation in a given market, in a given state. It's almost as if one were going to the grocery store to buy a gallon of milk and approaching the manager of the grocery store and saying, you know, what are you doing to secure and own cows in this area, in this state, to ensure the future milk production? The grocery store manager is not responsible for owning the cows. The grocery store manager is responsible for securing the milk at a good price, at the right temperature, and the right gallon sizes that customers want. And so as retail suppliers, we are not responsible for building the generation. We give customers an avenue into the wholesale market to get market-based pricing. It's the wholesale market that's responsible for building the generation and keeping the benefits and the security and the reliability that we all want. And so as retail suppliers know, we do not look at building generation as a retail entity, but our wholesale, now our company of course is owned by Exelon, which does have a very large wholesale generation ownership presence. And that part of our company does look at opportunities for building generation. But on the retail side, no retail supplier looks to build generation in the competitive markets.
The question we have to ask, I think, as public policymakers is how we're going to maintain reliability at an affordable price and ensure that the capacity exists to be able to meet the demands of the marketplace. That's the reliability question. And that grocery store owner still has all of his input costs for the grocery store itself, for the physical plant of the grocery store, the parking lot resurfacing, the leaking roof, the coolers that keep the cold milk at the cold temperature that is necessary. These are all requirements of that particular marketplace too. So I think what we're trying to accomplish here is giving the best opportunity for business entities such as yours to compete, but to compete recognizing that reliability is at the crux of that question.